Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision Presents Sharing in Session, a weekly Yellowjackets breakdown. My name is Sean.
And I'm Missy.
Missy, I don't know if you're as happy with episode 6 as I am, but all my fucking complaining has really, I feel like, paid off and might be the best episode of the series so far.
I agree with you. I think it is the best episode of the series. I mean, and there have been others that I thought were, you know, potent, but this one is a banger from beginning to end. They gave me a couple things that I've been wanting since the very fucking beginning.
Yeah.
So this was season 3, episode 6, Thanksgiving that we're talking about. Um,
Thanksgiving Canada.
yeah, does that part matter?
Yeah, it's part of the title. I don't know what I don't know what
Okay.
that's a reference to.
I guess I didn't realize I guess that is the full title. It never really registered. Probably is a reference to something, and I didn't even register it as anything. So Thanksgiving,
You're correcting me last
Canada.
week about the Family Matters element
Oh
of the
yeah,
title. So now I think
yeah.
every time I look at a title, I'm like, is it a reference I'm just not getting because I'm not familiar with
hmm
something? But either way, whatever. So I want to go a little bit out of order because I just want to give you a fucking verbal public high five because you called other Ty sitting in the fucking pilot seat like an episode or two ago, and you were
hmm
100% right. And they confirm it this week with first so Van and the phone.
hmm
I don't know about you, and for listeners, I didn't watch the Walking Dead show beyond like the second or third season, but in the comic book there is a thing, and this reminded me 100% of it, where Rick carries a fucking phone with him and will talk to his dead wife on the phone. It will ring and he'll pick it up and talk to Lori.
Right.
And that scene, I was immediately like, oh my God, like, because what the fuck is even going on? It's not a dream. Van
No,
has a phone in one of her, boxes of analog shit, and it rings and she picks it up and it's Ty.
but first there is static and a power surge.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes.
There is static and a power surge, and then that phone rings, and it's Ty uh, reaching out to her initially, and then you get another reach out moment that's a lot more clear, probably to make sure
Yes.
that people get it.
Yeah, where she wakes up out of a dead sleep and is basically like, help me, and then just goes back to being other Ty and goes back to sleep, right?
Yeah, but I love the scene with the phone. We get a power surge and static beforehand. So I mean, and then we get static later on when they're all connecting to each other at the end in at the end of the episode. So I mean, I think this nobody else could call her on that phone except Ty. They're calling each other. I mean, it's probably like some kind of telepathy or whatever.
So you don't think, like, I wondered if it was a metaphor that they were showing us the metaphor,
I I I
or
think
is it
so.
literally this toy phone rings, or this? It's not a toy phone; it's a disconnected phone. But is it literally the phone rings?
I'm not sure.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think it's more the the power of whatever they all connect to, whether it is each other or it or all of it, whatever. Somehow they tap into it. I think the phone is probably more of a metaphor. But maybe not. I mean, they see shit that's not there. I mean, your mind makes it real. So if it rings in her
Yep.
head and she picks up the phone and talks to Ty, it's still real.
Well, and so that makes me think of last episode we were talking about. I was saying like I need like some kind of an explanation, not 100%, but like with like the cave, right? Okay, and I realized, A, I don't need that. That was me being a little bitch, and B, this show is proving to be so influenced by David Lynch. There's a lot of other influences, but there's things that are so fucking direct, like Twin Peaks, that I realized I'm not getting an answer. They don't need to. It's the same. I
Mm-mm.
don't complain when David Lynch shows something and doesn't explain it. So why am I complaining about this? So I'm gonna. This is my pledge, and I'll stop being a whiny little bitch. Maybe that's also easier because I got something that really excited me this episode.
Right.
But yeah, like the whole the trees, like that's so fucking Twin Peaks. It's unbelievable, and like in a
Okay.
great way, not in a way where it's like feels even derivative. It's just I didn't even notice it at first, but then I'm like, oh yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. But so they do show us things that may or may not be palpably real to the
Right.
world of the characters, and we're just not going to know. Like, was they're not going to tell us was that phone call real? No, they're not going to tell us that. It was great to look at and with our own interpretation.
Whether it was real or not, the message still got through both to Van and to the viewers.
Yes, exactly.
And it gave a more visual, I mean, they've been working up to, like, if you go back and watch a couple episodes previous leading up, you'll see Ty changes. Like
Yeah,
her demeanor, the way she delivers lines, the way she said stuff or dances around, like it's all there. Like you can tell when she's like I've been watching it for a while. It's been like I was pretty sure she was other Ty in episode 4, but I was positive in 5.
and
And
now it's
now it's
confirmed
6
in
and they're
six.
giving confirmation.
And as soon as you said it, I knew you were right. And I think the reason why I missed it, and I bet a lot of people missed it, is because previously other Ty has been very like she when she's in control, she doesn't speak a lot. She would walk through the woods on like Van would basically be like following her, like following a charging dog or something, right? Like she's
Hmm.
very intense and not she doesn't have any like there's no funny moments or like even any personality. It's just kind of like
Hmm.
driven will. And so now she's exhibiting like she's a person, but you are right. It's still not the Ty that we know. It's clinically different in a lot of regards. And I noticed it for sure, like for sure when I rewatched 5 again after we did our episode and then here right away, like
Okay.
even before the phone, I was like, oh, 100%.
Uh-huh.
Like I knew you were right. So I was so excited when they confirmed it.
Well, I was pretty sure that after in episode 5, after Sammy says, "Are you not my mommy
Yep.
anymore?" I'm like, she's not like we're not going to see Ty for a while. Other Ty is not going to let her out,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
and that's exactly what's happening.
So, starting at the beginning of the episode, I wanted to ask you this. So, we start with Shauna sitting in the car. She's come home and she's sitting in the car and she's obviously emotional and she's obviously thinking about something, right? So, here's my question. Considering she still may be responsible for Lottie's death, is she sitting in that car creating a narrative for her family, or is she really mulling over the circumstances of Lottie's death? What's your take on that? Do you? I mean, I know we don't know, but like, do you have like a feeling either way?
More the first one, a
Okay,
narrative for the family.
because that really it really made me wonder. Like, did she kill her?
Well, and all right, the song, the Queen of Hearts song, it's the same song that was the ringer on the Wilderness phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was she hearing that in her head, or when she walks into the house, did Jeff have it playing?
That's a really good. And also, there's something there when she's sitting in the car. There's like a humming, and like I want to say there might be like vague like ambiguous snippets of like dialogue or conversation or something.
Okay.
Um, but and I took it as like I wasn't sure if she was like lost in thought, and that was the way they were just kind of presenting that.
Maybe.
Okay, but even like the narrative thing, I feel like the way she's like telling Jeff, like, oh, you don't know. That seems weird to me. Lottie's dead. And then when Callie comes out and she's like, okay, let me spell it out for you. Someone is trying to kill us. It feels like she's really punctuating a narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And if she was really concerned, she would sound like that as well. But I just can't get over the fact that, like, I just wonder. I just wonder. I don't know. I feel like we're seeing so much shit about Shauna in 1996 being like really pretty fucking ruthless
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just, and there's a moment with Callie where she finds out she was recording her and she's like, go to your father before I do something I regret.
Mm-hmm. I think that like what I think you were saying Kirsten had said this, and I've thought this for a while too. I think Shauna is afraid of who she became, so she tried to become one of the normies because it was easier,
Hmm.
safer. And now she can't be that anymore. It's not working. She doesn't fit here, and we're seeing more of the real person
Yeah.
and less of the person I have to be. She built she built an act. She built a mask that she could wear to function in the world.
Yeah. Oh man.
I mean, a lot of us do it. I guess I recognize it because I mean, sometimes you have to just get up and function.
Yeah, right. And she's good at functioning and like her mask includes her family and she very openly manipulates Jeff. Like I don't even know how Jeff doesn't see he's being manipulated
Right.
when she's like, I feel faint or whatever. I was like, oh my God, that's
But
textbook 101. That's not even good. Like, the character is like not really even like really,
yeah,
And
but Jeff is
also,
also, I mean, he's funny and we love Jeff, but
yes,
he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
that's true. And he's very hell bent on like protecting his family now and whatnot.
Hmm.
And um
And that's probably one of the reasons she latched onto him when she came back.
yes, absolutely.
If he was a very dominating personality, it wouldn't work.
Man, it's really interesting to see then like in the 96 timeline that even before like they strip Nat of her leadership in this episode, but even before that, like early on, there's like the montage of her feeding Ben, and she walks out at some point, and like I feel like Gen,
Hmm.
like I feel like that brief collision is almost on purpose. Like it doesn't. It seems like that, like the kind of tough guy at school that like shoulders into the fucking guy that he's got
Hmm.
a problem with. But you can see the derision already in Jen. Like
Hmm.
Jen, and actually later, doesn't she like at near the end does she push her or something like?
I think she's the one who pushes her.
So like she's really. I like that they're bringing her out a little bit more as well,
Hmm.
and but you can start to see where everybody's turning on Nat and
Hmm.
they're now shifting to Shauna's perspective, and then Melissa, like straight up a couple times, like you know, um,
Oh, she's a fucking shit starter. What I find interesting is this is another time that Lottie saved Nat. They were gonna crucify her.
yeah, they were,
Like they were gonna tear her apart. And Lottie stepped in and, you know, well, no, it's obvious the leader should be Shauna.
yeah,
Before it was, the she should be our leader because the wilderness chose her. This is not like I don't think Lottie is a malevolent source.
no, she's not at
She
all.
tries to help people. It often goes wrong,
Yes,
but I think her intentions are good.
yes, I agree.
She doesn't believe that's the right choice,
No,
but she's trying to shift the focus.
yeah, she's mediating the problem that's I mean, because yeah, you're right. Like they were going to tear her
They were
apart. There
going to,
was
yeah, she would have been next on the menu.
and Missy, like her, just and now so we've kind of shifted forward in the episode to discuss like after Nat kills Ben, which was like I've watched this twice, and I like almost cried. Like I thought it was so well done, and like just seeing him beg for death
Hmm.
was just so affecting, and like watching Nat,
Sophie Thatcher's face when she's actually putting the knife in, because they don't show you the violence, they show you her face the whole time.
yes, yep,
And she, like, you feel it.
yeah, you really do, you really do,
Everybody, I mean, from beginning to end, I feel like everybody just nailed it this episode. I mean, yeah, Samantha Hanratty, young Misty.
Yeah.
I mean, she after Ben dies, her borderline hysteria is like
Yeah,
you feel that
rage.
too, and rage and how heartbroken she is. Like you feel it. Like
Yeah.
all it's such a fantastic cast. I mean, yeah, all of the performances were fantastic, and Ben, especially right before she puts the knife in, like the just the peace and the
Yes.
gratitude all
Yep.
over his like without saying anything. Like,
Yep.
wow. Yeah, I think it's the best episode they've done. I've been and I finally got a taste of these animal masks that I've been waiting for these are like the earliest versions of what we see in the beginning.
Oh, when they force feed him, right? And
When
they
they
come in
force
and
feed him.
yes,
Hmm.
they're
And some of
creepy.
those masks, uh, like we saw a very early edition of the rabbit looking mask.
Yeah.
Shauna had the rabbit mask. Van was wearing a mask that will later become the one that's been floating around the internet is the skunk mask, the one we see in the very beginning, the
Mm-hmm.
pit girl. I've always thought that it was Van or Ty who ended up with that mask, so it's probably going to be Van. She had the beginnings of it, and
Mm-hmm.
then Misty just had like a hat. It didn't look very animal at all yet, but she just had like a happy mask, and then Travis had the ski mask.
Yeah.
But still, this is I mean, a couple of those masks were really fucking creepy, and
Yeah.
this is the first taste we're getting that they're giving into they're giving into the wild, and I fucking love it.
Talking on, well, not teenage Misty, but present day Misty. I don't remember. So we recorded an episode. It was either the last one or the one before. And I think after we stopped recording, you said this to me. Can you repeat? Because they did it again. They reference it again. Can you repeat what you told me about what Walter says to Misty when he first meets her?
Yes, I may end up saying it backwards. I'm just a Moriarty looking for my Sherlock,
And
and
it,
Moriarty is the bad guy. He's the villain.
yes,
It,
exactly.
you'd expect it to be Watson, and I mean, I think a lot of people probably your brain just fills it in. It tripped me up because I like murder mysteries and I like Sherlock Holmes and I know Moriarty is the bad guy.
Yep. That, that's so. I think it's so important, and they reference it this episode where like Misty says something like, "Put that in your pipe and smoke it," Sherlock, or something like
Hmm.
that. But it struck me his like the limo, look to the left, and it's the
Uh-huh.
limo driver
Oh
with
yeah,
the
he
with
does
Lottie's trash.
like bad guy stuff all the time.
I think he comes off as like wanting to please her, and
Hmm.
I actually think he laughs at how easily manipulatable she is.
Probably.
I think he's going to be revealed to not be the person she thinks he is,
No,
100%.
he's not. I'm positive that he's not.
Yeah,
Like
it's really interesting.
there's no reason, especially Elijah Wood is a fantastic actor and he loves weird twisted roles. Like
Yeah,
why would you get him to just be like a comic relief kind of character?
yeah, exactly.
And this show doesn't need them. Like there's more to it than that. There's got to be. And Moriarty is that kind of villain, like a behind the scenes
Yeah,
pulling strings master manipulator.
I'm your friend. Oh, no, I'm not.
It makes sense if that was who he aspires to be, that he wants to be this master villain kind of, So I don't know. I think there's a lot more to the character than they're showing us.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
agree.
just Misty's quirky, helpful boyfriend. He's not.
And he leads her to that bamboo cafe where then Misty discovers Lisa, who reveals
Hmm.
that Lottie tipped her 50 K, right? And in an envelope that said, "I'm
Right.
sorry."
Right. Which that explains where the money went, because when in the last episode with the whole penthouse scene, Misty finds the bank receipt that she withdrew $50,000. Now we know where that $50,000 went.
Yes, and but then also Lisa says, "Well, yeah, like Ty was with her outside the cafe that the other day, the day she died." So now we know, our theory about like, okay, all these women were in New York at the same
Well, your
fucking
theory,
time.
I missed that. I suck at
Well,
geography, Sean.
but I'm just saying, like, so we talked about this, and now it's like I still don't know that this lets Shauna off the hook. But so Ty, or actually other Ty, met Lottie. So that
Yep.
is,
Interesting.
we're not like, they're not showing us stuff, but they're just doing this exactly the right way.
The scene at the end when they're having the Thanksgiving or the dinner, whatever. Um, Lottie says, "This is wrong. This isn't supposed to happen this way."
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she starts screaming,
Mm-hmm.
and we hear something screaming.
The trees like that we've been seeing, right, scream back.
Right, but I mean, there are screams that sound like a creature,
I feel like
like
there was that in the last couple episodes too, right? Like that's how I took those other incidents where they were hearing these noises in the trees.
see, I thought that was just the wilderness, and but this time I felt like I heard something that sounded like an animal, like
That's
and
interesting.
and it's probably not. I don't think there's going to end up being like a monster. I think it's some kind of forest spirit or something that they're tapping into, and it's all getting fucked up. But
Well, and so do you think that has anything to do with Akila's vision actually in this episode
is a,
culminates with the
a
bear, the stop motion bear, right?
with
That
a
then
third
grows a
eye.
third eye. And then you get these intermittent flashes of the huts with them dancing around and then the
Mm-hmm.
huts empty. So I'm not sure how to read any, especially the
I'm not,
bear with the third eye. I'm like, I don't know.
in season one, the whole thing with the bear
Mm-hmm.
where Lottie killed it, and then they had meat, and a lot of the anim or a lot of the characters. I know we talked about this during season two. Certain characters having animals tied to them, and
Mm-hmm.
I always associated the bear with Lottie because the whole like she tries to mama bear and protect all of them.
Mm-hmm.
We see it multiple times. So so I kind of thought of her as the bear. And then I didn't connect this because I kind of forgot about Akila's vision until you said it, but it was a bear with a third eye. If Lottie's the bear, then she kind of already, Akila saw what happened tonight, because then Lottie starts screaming and tells them sing, sing, and they all start screaming too. And then the wilderness, and I mean, a creature or not creature, you hear all of it all together, and the way that sound is, the sound design, the music, all of that, the way they combine it all is fucking outstanding. It's so cool.
It's very intense. Like it is a very intense scene. And you even get this like in the middle of it, is it like Lottie that looks over and you see at first I thought it was going to be the hunter, the guy in the cabin, but you see this tall, shadowy man-like figure like moving away. And she's like, Ben? And I thought it's like
Right.
that Ben's spirit leaving. But then
That's
obviously,
what I thought
well,
too. And then we
but
see what it is. But
but do we? Because so okay, so I don't want to go there just yet. I want to do one more thing to set this up before we go there. But okay, so we had not mentioned on this show, and it's completely slipped my mind that the envelope with the DAT tape is dropped off and Callie intercepts it, right?
I forgot about it, honestly. I completely forgot about it.
So when this comes back out, this episode, rewatching this episode, when Shauna calls Ty and then speaks to Van and says, I have this weird tape, but it's not a tape. It says dad, and Ty's like, yeah, I can play it
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And then she hangs up and she's telling Ty, which is really other Ty, about this, and Ty's like, who even uses DAT tapes anymore? And Van says, I don't know. In my experience, garage bands and super intense birders. And as soon as she says super intense birders, they look at one another and you see the light bulbs and they're like, fuck, get dressed, let's go.
And good, that was good on you to catch, because I remember the line. I didn't think that much about it because I just think of DAT tapes as weird garage bands and like indie documentaries.
Right, right. Well, and I think one of the reasons that obviously the first time through, it made no impression on me whatsoever. Second time it did, because I was like, you had already told me your theory about the end, and I was like, this completely dovetails with your theory, because obviously the end of the episode is like the biggest mind fuck, because what happens?
Well, and they do it perfectly too, because
They
all
do.
right, because Ben dies, or rather, Nat kills Ben, and when the others find out, they turn on her. Lottie shifts the focus and it says, "No, Shauna should lead us then," which I'm just going to put out there is going to be bad.
Yes,
It's
of
going to be
course.
bad fucking news. The people who don't want to lead are usually the ones who are good leaders. The ones who want power it's
Yes.
never a good thing. But so Shauna says, well, when somebody dies out here, we honor them. We're going to, you know, so we're going to do that. We're going to have a feast, and Nat's punishment is going to be to carve up Coach Ben.
Which was
Um,
her also showing, I think, that she can be a benevolent leader. Because, like, Misty's like, well, she's just going to get away with it. Like, she wants
mm-hmm.
blood, right? And Shauna's like, no, So, okay, sorry, continue. I just want to point that out. I felt
Yeah,
like that
Shauna
was,
kind of, I can make myself look like a benevolent leader. I can give you a punishment that's going to hurt,
yeah,
you know, and make you clean up what she considers to be her mess.
yes, exactly.
So, great scene. Well done. Um, so then we're having this feast, and Lottie gets all stirred up and starts listening to the trees, and she wants everybody to scream and sing, and they start doing that, and the music cranks up. The
Right
music.
before that happens, too, there is that, like, where you get the tracking interference again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we keep seeing, like, we're watching an old videotape, right? Like,
Yeah, we keep getting these distant shots where you'll see static, and we're looking. I'm pretty sure we're looking through a camera, but
well, no, that
um,
shot where it is here is on Lottie. It's like literally where she's like, this isn't how it's supposed to happen, and it's like a medium close up on her, and it ripples there. Then it cuts
oh,
to a
okay,
wide shot that looks like somebody. It's like stalker vision, right? It like looks like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
somebody outside the camp looking in.
So the music and everything is cranking up, and the whole thing has gone very, very tribal, and they're dancing and screaming around the fire, and we see something, and uh, Lottie had said Ben, and I took it to be like his spirit or whatever, didn't think
Hmm.
about it. And then you see a person come into the screen. A man, a regular looking guy, wearing like I don't know, like hiking gear, and they had like camera equipment and shit. And he says, hi, hello, and everybody stops and freezes, and he turns and he sees Coach Ben's head sitting on like a platter at the head of the table, and goes, what the fuck? And at the same time, I was like, what the fuck? And then it just ends, and this tribal music kicks in. Um, and then my theory is that these people are filming a documentary of some kind, but they're probably nature photographers or birders based on the previous comment. Um, but I think they're shooting a documentary. That's why it's DAT tapes. Um, and as they're coming up and you're seeing like the stalker vision through the camera, you hear a lady's voice, and then when Shauna Van and Ty are playing get the DAT tape to play in the car, we're also hearing that this lady's voice. What is this? As they're
Yes.
walking up on the camp, and then you hear all the screaming because the tape that they're listening, the DAT tape, is this night when they had the thing to honor Ben's head. um, I think that these people come up on them. They're watching them through the camera. These people are going to get eaten.
Yeah.
And somehow, I think I think they're gonna keep all the shit that they have, but somehow Melissa is gonna end up keeping this tape. I still think she's the one trying to hunt Shauna or kill,
Yeah.
fuck with, whatever, get her attention. I still think it all goes back to her. I also think that um, Coach Ben, it's the whole thing with him, with Coach Ben being the bridge. He was giving them hope. They thought he was the bridge home because that's what Akila saw in her vision. I think that he would have been had they not killed him.
Yeah.
Because had these people come up on them not having a cannibalistic barbecue,
They would have went home.
they would have went home, and they would have had this responsible adult to kind of work it all out and everything, but they would have went home. But they killed him, and now these people come up on them having a tribal ritual around a head. So they can't let them go.
Yep.
I'm assuming they're going to eat all of these people, and be here. We're going to be here through another winter. What do you think about any of these
I think
things
your theory is right on. I had thought, like, what if the whole Hillary Swank being Melissa thing is a red herring, and it's like this because the guy comes up. It's an actor named Nelson Franklin who looks very familiar, and I'm looking at his IMDb. He's been in a ton of shit, so I'm not even going to list any of it. But it's just a lot of
Okay.
random stuff.
Well, there's a lady next to him when the shot
There's a
widens,
lady next to him. Yes,
but I mean you can't see her. It's
well,
dark.
and I think that was just a first impulse, like, oh, maybe this lady is going to be Hillary Swank, but that's not the case. So I think you're 100% correct in that these people are making. I mean, the birder comment just solidifies it, right?
Yeah, that's too specific
It's too
to.
specific.
Mhm.
So I think you're 100% correct. And here's a little thing. So they don't play us the tape, right? So Shauna meets Ty and Van with the DAT tape in their car outside of the hotel where her and her family are staying because they're afraid somebody might be trying to kill them. They hit play, and then it cuts to other shit. And when it comes back, you hear the woman's voice saying, "What is this?" or whatever, and then you hear the screams, the howling
The screen.
that they're doing, and then it ends, and then they react to it. Now, Callie had slipped her phone with the memo, like the voice memo function going into Shauna's bag. Shauna finds it. That's when the whole confrontation, go by your father before I do something I regret, because she's pissed. She thinks she deletes it. What was so fucking brilliant is, like, anybody that's used that voice memo on an iPhone, and it's probably the same on an Android, you delete a file, but then there's a trash can where it has recently deleted files. So Callie still got that fucking file. And that file is 43 minutes long and some change when Shauna stops it. If you figure Callie hits start, gives her mom a hug, and slips it into the bag, then Shauna walks down to meet Van and Ty. Let's just say 15 minutes for that. Okay, let's just say that. That
Okay.
leaves almost 30 minutes of
See, I
recording.
didn't even think about that.
That's a
Good
lot
catch.
of fucking time.
Because I
Like,
guess they were
holy
just
shit.
in the parking lot here, right? She
Yeah.
had them come to her motel, so
So what the fuck else? Now, and it also could be actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe this isn't that revelatory because actually the DAT tape, the people are walking up, right? So they might stop the DAT tape right there because unless I don't know, are the howls we're hearing on that tape when they turn it off at the beginning or the end? You know what I mean? Like we don't know yet, but I'm just wondering what I'm really wondering what's on that tape. But whatever it is, Callie has now listened. We can assume by the next episode, Callie has heard it.
well, did they listen to it all though, or did Shauna stop it because she went to go talk to Callie? I didn't think they listened to the whole thing because she just kind of left with Ty and Van looking confused, like, what the hell?
See, I don't know. So that's an interesting question that we'll need to they'll need to like address or whatever. But yeah, I mean, oh man, the ending of this
But
episode.
assuming whatever is on that tape is what happens on
Yeah.
this night, and we have not seen everything that happened. We saw these people walk up, and then the episode ends.
Oh man, I mean this episode is just out fucking standing.
Yeah,
I'm
every scene.
so happy, and I can't see it settling back down again after. There's just no fucking way. We've got 4 episodes left.
Yeah, I think I read that there are supposed to be 10 episodes and we just watched six. Like I saw on online, I was on just the Yellowjackets Instagram site and they had, and they post videos and I had seen things that people were commenting
Mhm.
and like there were people that were upset that we're getting so much of the wilderness and I want the wilderness story. Like
I mean,
I
I
don't
guess it depends on your predilection for which timeline, I guess. But yeah, I agree with you. I want more
I
of it.
don't I mean the stuff that's going on in the now is fine, but I mean, if I had to choose between a book that's all about the wilderness story or a book that's about now, I want the wilderness.
I think
And
the balance is what I like, and I think we've had
okay,
enough of the now. So we need there's just everything in the now is dependent on the shit we don't know about the past. So we need more of the
right.
past.
We need more of the past. And 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 I want like I want to know what drives them to
Yep.
the point that we get to the pit girl scene where they're hunting people in the forest making animal noises and they've got all these elaborate tribal masks and I want to know about that shit. And and the other thing that I also saw people complaining about that was and they're not getting it. They're upset because they ate Coach Ben when they didn't need to, but that's not the point. Like it it's not about that. They're giving into tribal this tribal society that they're building, I guess.
Yeah. Their belief system that Ben didn't
Their
understand.
belief system and like for one thing, they're no longer like they no longer expect to get rescued. They're figuring out how to live here.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they had hope that it would happen, but I mean, they've learned to survive and whatnot. But this was not about starvation. They have food. I think. I mean, when Shauna says we need to honor him, I took that more as like where hunters or
Yeah.
whatnot would kill an animal and eat the heart to consume the spirit and things like that.
Yep.
I thought that was more the meaning behind it.
Agreed. I think you're right. I mean, there's no question you're right.
That and letting go of their humanity. They're giving into their wild. They're becoming
Yeah.
more ruthless, more aggressive, more. the one who has retained the most of their humanity is Natalie. And
Yeah.
that's why when she grows up, she's the most obviously broken because she's the most honest.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Uh I that's Thanksgiving Canada. Is there anything we
Yeah.
didn't talk about that you had?
Um, just that I love that Misty continues to wear Nat's jacket and channel her inner
Yeah.
Nat
Yeah, there's
because
like a moment where she's talking to Lisa
talking
and
to
she tries to get
Walter.
all like she no to Lisa and she tries to get all tough. She's
Oh,
all
that
like
too.
I forget what she says, but you see her like try to put on her like dirty hairy face.
Yeah, like her tough
Yeah,
Nat
and it's
face, or standing up to Walter where she tells her, "This is my investigation. Back off, ass face."
yes. Oh my
Like
God,
I love it,
I do
and
too.
I love it, and I've never really noticed Christina Ricci that much before, and I love her. This
Yeah,
is
same, same.
so yeah, just keep doing what you do, and this episode was a banger. I give us more. Keep it
Yep,
coming.
agreed. So next week we'll be back to talk about the next episode. But until then, for Sharing Session and the Horror Vision, my name is Sean.
And I'm Missy.
Hapless teenagers beset by demons in the woods. A strange new drug that turns art into murder. A can't beat a deal on a new house with a horrifying past. A video game that might usher in the apocalypse. From the demented mind of Sean C. Baker, author of a collection of desires, Shadow Play, and Murder Virus, comes Volume 4, collecting Baker's no sleep work along with several never-before published short stories. This 99-cent volume also includes the opening chapter of the author's forthcoming teenage giallo novel, Black Gloves and Broken Hearts, due out later this year.